Well, as you know, 11Alive is committed to not only helping protect your dollar, but also your safety too. So that's why we have teamed up with Consumer Reports to investigate various issues, report on regulatory and safety rules and standards, and lean on their team of experts for trusted guidance. So that includes recent stories on safety protocols around items being sold on Amazon that are facing recall, and what to do after a data breach, whether there may be toxins in the cinnamon that you're buying at the store, and advice for ways to keep you safe on the road and save you money.
Sonilla Brown is a busy mom of three.
We live in the country, we farm, we can't get to town. I can have something here in a couple of days, maybe a week.
She shops on Amazon. Sometimes it's directly from Amazon, but other times it's from a third-party seller where Amazon just handles the packing and shipping. This is called Fulfilled by Amazon, or FBA. So why does this matter? Recently, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, decided that Amazon might be responsible for letting you know about unsafe or defective products sold through its FBA program. This also means Amazon could be on the hook for giving refunds or replacements. This decision came after they found more than 400,000 faulty products like carbon monoxide detectors that didn't work, children's PJs that didn't meet safety standards, and hair dryers that could be dangerous. The CPSC says that these items could cause serious injuries or even death. Consumer Reports says this new rule is a win for shoppers.
This is clearly the right decision. Otherwise, products that could injure or kill people might slip through the cracks, and consumers are affected either way. Platforms need to step up, and the sooner Amazon acts, the better people will be protected in their homes.
Amazon didn't deny that these products were dangerous. However, they argue they shouldn't have to follow the same recall rules as other companies because they're just the middleman between third-party sellers and buyers. The government disagrees.
Amazon will now be responsible for recalling these products and reaching out to people to get more of these products out of homes. This is a major step forward for consumer protection, and it helps hold online marketplaces accountable in the future.
It gives you more security in what you're buying for your family, for yourself, for someone else.
Like many of us, Consumer Reports tech editor Nicholas DeLeon knows how it feels to be the victim of a data breach. His advice:
don't panic. My social security number was stolen in that big Equifax hack, and I was eventually able to sort everything out.
One important step Nicholas took, freezing his credit at the big three credit agencies, a move CR generally recommends since it can help prevent criminals from opening new accounts in your name.
The thing is, anytime you need credit, say you're going to rent an apartment or you're going to buy a new phone, you'll need to unfreeze your credit to do so. You can do all of this by simply calling the credit agency and asking them to freeze and unfreeze your credit as needed.
A less restrictive option, contacting the credit agencies to put a fraud alert on your credit. This alerts lenders to take extra steps to verify someone's identity because their personal information may have been compromised. It's also a good idea to keep an eye on your free weekly credit reports, credit score, and credit card statements.
And if you ever notice any weird or unauthorized charges on your credit card statement, you should immediately contact the issuer.
Finally, if you're a victim of a data breach, be sure to change your password, not only on your hacked account, but also anywhere else you've used it. And a pro tip, instead of reusing passwords in the future, consider using a password manager. They generate and store unique, complex passwords for each of your accounts. Many will also alert users if their password was leaked in a data breach, including CR-recommended password managers from 1Password, Dashlane, and Keeper.
Modern cars have the ability to capture all types of data.
Our dad, he likes to track us. He's like wanting us to be safe in the city and stuff like that.
The trackers, cameras, and sensor technology can add to drivers' comfort, convenience, and safety. But let's take a closer look. A 2023 report from the Mozilla Foundation researched 25 car brands, noting cars can collect medical info, genetic info, how fast you drive, where you're going, even the songs you play. The growing question, do you know where all your data is going?
It tells where you go, it tells how fast you go, it tells when you brake and when you don't. And that information can be, and increasingly is, being sold to insurance companies and data brokers.
Justin Brookman is Director of Technology Policy at Consumer Reports, part of the effort examining how driver data is being used. The 25 brands Mozilla Foundation researched all earn the nonprofit's privacy not included warning label. Also finding that 19 of those car brands say they can sell your data.
Cars are just big computers on wheels. And like desktop computers or mobile phones, they collect a ton of information about us, and they can also share a ton of information about us. And a lot of times we don't even know it's happening.
To be honest, it's not something that I've really thought about. However, now that we are having the conversation, I do kind of feel like it's a little bit of an invasion of privacy.
Right now, there are no federal comprehensive privacy laws, but there is action in the courts. In June, several class action lawsuits were consolidated in Georgia, accusing GM of collecting driver data without consent and sharing it or selling it to third parties.
Once you've got this type of litigation going on.
Jessica Sino is a partner with Crevelin and Horst. She specializes in cybersecurity and is not affiliated with the lawsuit, but anticipates it could lead to a settlement influencing future standards.
And then what does that settlement produce? It produces more upfront information, more informed consents, opt-in to these types of data collection and data sharing types of services.
In the meantime, experts say be careful what you agree to when purchasing a new vehicle. Visit the settings in your car to see if data sharing settings can be turned off, and be careful with apps on your phone,
because they might be sharing information about what sort of driving you do as well.
There's a common spice in most of our kitchens, but it turns out some brands of cinnamon could be hiding something dangerous, toxic levels of lead. Consumer Reports tested 36 different cinnamon products and spice blends, and the results are very concerning. 1 out of every 3 had lead levels higher than 1 part per million, which is high enough to cause a recall in New York, but not across the whole country. We'll explain in just a bit.
Just a quarter teaspoon of any of these products gives you more lead than you should have in an entire day. If you have any one of those products, we think you should just throw it away.
First of all, it's important to remember that lead exposure can be really harmful, especially for kids and during pregnancy. For adults, it's been linked to things like kidney damage, high blood pressure as well. But how does lead end up in cinnamon in the first place?
Cinnamon trees take about 10 years to grow, giving ample time to absorb lead from soil and water. Additionally, during the drying process of the bark, the lead can become concentrated.
Most of the cinnamon sold in the U.S. comes from Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam, where rules about soil contamination may not be as strict. Consumer Reports found the highest lead levels in 3 lesser-known brands, mostly sold in international markets. After hearing the results, only Paris and EGN agreed to stop selling their products. Of the other companies contacted, only 2, Deep and Yi, responded, saying they tested their products or relied on tests from suppliers. On the bright side, 6 of the products had very low or no detectable lead at all. As for government action, there are no federal limits on lead in cinnamon or other spices. Consumer advocates are now pushing for national regulations like those in New York, where more than 100 spices have been recalled since 2016 because of heavy metals. For now, experts suggest choosing cinnamon from brands with the lowest lead levels, sticking with well-known brands, and reducing lead exposure from all sources. Christine Ammerman was in the market for a bigger car for her growing family, so she decided to research used cars.
I was really looking for a fair price.
And while prices have come down over the past year, most people still end up paying around $30,000 for a used car. So buyers like Christine know it's important to make a choice that's going to last for miles and years ahead.
I was specifically looking for brands that were known to be durable, have great safety qualifications, and something that was fuel efficient.
Consumer Reports just released its first ever brand ranking for used cars to help buyers reduce their risks of experiencing problems.
Our survey focused on vehicles from the 2014 to 2019 model year, essentially 5 to 10-year-old vehicles, looking at data from 150,000 vehicles collected in our survey.
Lexus and Toyota top the list of 26 brands, with Mazda coming in third. All 3 brands have consistent average or better reliability ratings over the years. Acura and Honda round out the top 5 brands. At the bottom of the list, Tesla, Dodge, and Chrysler. Even though some cars are known to stand the test of time, not every model from every brand, even a solid one, is created equal.
Brand reliability can direct your initial research, but as our data consistently shows, it's important for buyers to focus on the model and the year that you're considering.
CR named 10 used cars top picks available exclusively for its members, like the 2017 Chevrolet Cruze is a great choice for under $10,000, and the Honda CR-V from 2018 is available with top safety features. If you're shopping for a pickup truck, the 2015 Toyota Tacoma strikes the right balance between dependability and towing power. No one wants to pay more than they have to, especially for something necessary but not all that fun. We're talking about car insurance. So let's kick it into high gear. Here are 5 ways Consumer Reports says that you can slash your premium. Number 5, increase your deductible. CR says now might be the time if you have not raised your deductible recently. Consider a $1,000 deductible to save on your annual premium. Remember, you're increasing your potential out-of-pocket repair cost after a crash. So make sure you have access to the money just in case, or use the savings to build an emergency fund. Number 4, Consumer Reports says it might be a time to drop collision and comprehensive insurance. As your car's years and miles pile up, its value decreases. That lowered value might not justify the expense of paying for collision and comprehensive coverage.
As a general rule, when the premium is more than 10% of the car's value, it's time to consider dropping collision and maybe comprehensive coverage too.
Number 3, take a defensive driving course. Some insurance companies let you take a safe driving course to get a discount. It only takes a few hours, tends to cost around $25, and the savings can add up. And you might even be able to take the course online. Number 2, shop around, then bundle. You may be able to save hundreds a year by combining your home and auto policies. Finally, sign up for driver monitoring. CR learned that you can save up to $800 with some insurance companies if you allow them to track your driving habits with a smartphone app or a device that plugs into your car's diagnostic port. So long as you prove to be a safe driver. There are some trade-offs here. Remember, you're giving up some privacy in much the same way you do when using certain smartphone apps in exchange for a potential discount. Whether you're taking a road trip, commuting to work, or just running errands, you want your car to be up to speed. And according to the automotive experts at Consumer Reports, it all starts at the pump.
When choosing where to fill up next, we recommend top-tier gas.
Jeff Bartlett works at Consumer Reports Auto Test Center, where they buy, test, and rate more than 50 cars, trucks, and SUVs every year, so CR goes through a lot of gas.
Top-tier gas is held to a higher standard through a voluntary agreement from major gas brands. You can find it at stations from Exxon, Mobil, Shell, Chevron, and Costco.
AAA analyzed top-tier gasoline and found it better protects newer engines from carbon buildup and deposits on the intake valves. So what does that mean for you? Better performance and fuel economy. When a brand offers top tier, they do so on all the grades and octane levels, not just certain versions. Top tier gas may cost a little more than fuel from discount brands, but the research points to it being a wise investment. To save money, check your owner's manual. Unless it requires premium fuel, skip it. Here are a few more rules to get the most out of your tank. Number 1, stay at half or more.
When on a road trip, make sure you keep your gas tank at least half full, because you never know if you're going to encounter congested roads or slow-moving traffic.
Check prices online. Apps and websites like GasBuddy show local gas prices, make it easy to find the best prices in your area or if you need to travel. Also, gas stations well off major highways and away from the city centers tend to have better prices, as do warehouse stores and some major travel centers. Finally, obey speed limits and drive smoothly. Your driving habits can significantly affect gas mileage, which in turn costs you money.
What started as a routine drive changed in the blink of an eye for Andrea Garnzars.
The bag to the car blew up on the steering wheel. There was an accident.
Andrea says a car slammed into hers from behind. Her car was wrecked and she was shaken.
I was just like in a state of shock.
The best way to protect yourself is to reduce the risk of a crash. Bad weather like fog, rain, or ice can lead to a chain reaction crash.
When visibility is low, it's harder for drivers to see what's ahead. Cars also take longer to stop on wet or icy roads, so it's really important to slow down and leave space between you and other vehicles to help keep you safe.
Pay attention to drivers around you, especially those following too closely. In slippery conditions, ease off the gas to slow down instead of applying the brakes forcefully, which can cause skidding. There are other scary car situations. where Consumer Reports says knowing what to do can make the difference between life and death. While less common than they were decades ago, almost 400 passenger vehicle fires still happen on average every day. If it happens to you, act fast.
Pulling over immediately is crucial if you smell smoke or see flames. Once stopped, shut off the car, get out, and move at least 100 feet away from the vehicle and call 911. Attempting to fight the fire on your own, especially without the appropriate extinguisher, can be a deadly mistake.
Consumer Reports also recommend staying away from the front and back of the car to avoid flying parts. It's safer to stay upwind to avoid breathing in harmful gases. And if you can, stay behind the guardrail or off the road in case another car hits the vehicle. Then there's flooding. Flooded roads are more dangerous than they look. Just 12 inches of water can sweep away a small car, and 2 feet of water can move larger vehicles. Even a small puddle can cause you to lose control, so it's important to stay cautious. Since it's often hard to gauge the depth of water, the best advice is to avoid driving through any standing water. Turn around and take a different route, or stay home until the weather clears up. Besides the personal risk, floodwaters can ruin your engine and electronics, sometimes leaving your car beyond repair. As for Andrea Garnsars, she knows she was lucky.
Thankfully, nothing happened to my legs on top of it because of the bash into the front of the bus.
Well, thanks for joining us today. If you have a consumer issue you want us to look into, just call us at 404-873-9111.